So while I get my composure back, let's watch a nice video.
1 degree, that's what separates each of us from someone who has cancer.
Actor Pierce Brosnan, NBA Hall of Famer and cancer survivor Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and actress Marcia Cross appeared on behalf of Stand Up to Cancer, partnered with the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network on the 1 Degree campaign.
They went to Capitol Hill today. They asked Congress to increase funding.
The 1 Degree Project is trying to leverage the power of our advocacy group, the American Cancer Society's Cancer Action Network, and the star power of Hollywood. And together, we think we can apply the right kind of pressure to persuade our elected representatives to invest more money in cancer research.
In order to find a cure, 1 Degree is asking Congress to increase medical research funding by $6 billion.
We have over 15 million cancer survivors in the country today, and we can continue to see that number grow if we're able to continue research funding.
Like many of you here today, I'm my own 1 Degree. In 2008, I was diagnosed with chronic myeloid leukemia.
I have been 1 degree away from cancer for most of my adult life.
To watch someone you love have his or her life eaten away bit by this insidious disease, that kind of sorrow becomes an indelible part of your psyche.
Battling this disease with medical science should be a priority for every government, for every human being. And $6 billion for the NIH over the next 2 years and $1 billion for the NCI over the next 2 years is not a lot of money to ask for to save people's lives.
One of the challenges in moving forward with the kind of research we need to be doing here is, frankly, Congress has not been doing the business of the Congress for a while.
We have reached the point where we have to decide whether we're going to be discouraged by the powers that be and the political forces of dysfunction in Washington, or whether we are going to barrel through them on a bipartisan basis and make an investment in medical research.
And I think if you could get a right-wing fiscal hawk, knuckle-dragging Republican like me to fight this fight, then anything is possible.
The 1 Degree campaign we launched today leverages the power of ACS CAN's more than 1 million nationwide grassroots volunteers from every congressional district across the land with the star power of Stand Up to Cancer celebrity supporters. So I want to recognize and thank ACS CAN's volunteers and Stand Up to Cancer's celebrity supporters for being with us here today on Capitol Hill to launch this very important initiative.
Share your 1 Degree at onedegreeproject.org to boost funding for cancer research. Do it, please.
Pretty impressive. I love being part of this organization, but like all of you, I so want to put us out of business. And the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network is one of the ways that we can do that. Fighting back against cancer remains a top priority in our state and our federal advocacy efforts. All of you are part of ACS CAN, I hope. And if you're not a member, an active member now, by tomorrow before you leave, I hope that you will become one, because that's a very powerful way that we can fight against cancer and finish this fight. So tomorrow, we're going to be asking you to double down, to reach deep, to think about how involved you can become in our advocacy efforts in the state and in our nation's capital. We want you to recommit to this important effort because we're all just 1 degree from cancer. Take a minute and think about that. Think about how close cancer is to you. If you're a survivor, you are someone's 1 degree. If you're a caregiver, you know too well who your 1 degree is. Think about that person who makes this fight so personal. Last year, ACS CAN launched the 1 Degree Project, and this year, relayers can take that effort to the next level. Imagine, just imagine, if all 2 million relayers across this country took a stand, contacted their lawmakers, shared the stories of how cancer has impacted them and their loved ones. Our legislators could not pay attention to us. They could not ignore our voices. ACS CAN's ask is simple: $1 billion over 2 years for research at the National Cancer Institute. It's not hard to remember. $1 billion, millions of lives saved, and the potential for there to be a future with no cancer at all. At Relay for Life events, ACS CAN will be bringing all kinds of fun things to the advocacy world. You know, you think sometimes about public policy, especially in Florida this year, and it's not so much fun, right? Well, we're going to bring megaphones and picture frames and ask you all to get involved and to take pictures of yourselves and send them to our elected officials so they know how important this fight against cancer is to each one of you. They want to see who the 1 degree is in your life. For us tonight, I want you to think about and remember 2 million members. It's impossible to ignore 2 million people making telephone calls, sending emails, sending letters, knocking on doors. It's impossible, and we can do that. ACS CAN is our vehicle. Our power to change rests with you. I want to highlight 2 quick items that can help us greatly in our fight this coming year. The first is for you as our relay leaders in Florida to make sure that you have an advocacy lead on your committee. The advocacy lead is an integral part of your executive team, and we need you to be sure that that position is filled as soon as possible. They are key to getting us those 2 million voices so they can be heard. Those 2 million voices start by getting all of your participants signed up as ACS CAN members. The second is to download the new ACS CAN app. If you haven't already done so, we want to encourage you to do that. It's very easy. Just go to the App Store. It's a free app. Download it. It will allow you to begin immediately to participate in action items, in integral pieces of getting our elected officials to understand that we want our voices heard. If you have any trouble doing that, just contact your staff lead. But if I can do it, I'm sure you can do it. I want to finish, though, tonight with a really uplifting story and a positive in our political process in Florida this year. We had a successful advocacy win that, if you recall, earlier in the year, we celebrated a hard-fought victory in Florida when our governor approved $1.8 million in funding for screenings for the medically underserved as part of the Mary Brogan Act. And you remember that the Mary Brogan Breast and Cervical Screening Act was brought about because of efforts by many of you in this room and many who have gone before us, who said, this isn't right. We have got to take care of people in our state who are dying from cancer unnecessarily because they couldn't get screening. The Mary Brogan Act has helped many thousands of women across our state over the past years, and we finally, 4 years ago, were able to get our elected officials to do a partial match of the federal funding that we get for that screening program. So this year we had $1.8 million allocated for our screening program, and then it was removed during the budget crisis. So what did we do? We jumped into action. ACS CAN got our volunteers involved, and we were not only able to restore our current year's funding, but we actually also received an increase in funding because our voices were heard. With the increase in funding this year, the Mary Brogan program is at an all-time high of $2.1 million. This happened because we let our voices be heard. All of you out there who participated made sure your voice was heard. So I want you to consider how important that is and how impactful that can be in our fight against cancer. These are the kinds of things that together we can accomplish so that we can finish this fight. Before I turn this back over to Jeff, I'd like to say my name is Maureen Mann. I'm a huge supporter of Relay for Life and of ACS CAN, and I'm going to paint the world purple. Thank you.